Well, hello YouTubers, welcome back to the channel and a happy 2024 to everybody. It's been a while. It is now it's now February, so here we are back at Sherlaw's, home of Triumph Aberdeen, and here we are jumping on the bandwagon for the new Scrambler 400X. I wasn't going to do a video on this one, to be honest. I was just going to go out and ride it, but I was asked to, and I'm actually quite interested in this bike personally, so let's jump into it and we'll see what it's like. Just sit on the side stands, quite easy to find. I am 6'4" and I am 110 kilos. So this is the first time I've jumped on this bike, and it's very easy to ride. Just balancing the bike here on the back brake, just doing something a bit different, and as you can see, it's very easy to balance. Very easy to balance. Anyway, that's just a little ditty in the car park. Let's go. Well, yes, so 2024 and on a Scrambler 400X. So to paint a little picture, I used to have a G310 GS BMW. That is a trail bike, single cylinder, also 34 horsepower. Let's try and adjust this mirror here. There we go. Now then, I actually quite like the bike. It was pretty good. It could, a nice big comfy seat. A nice comfy seat. Yeah, decent tank range, 34 horsepower, and I replaced my CRF 250L for one of those because CRF had a minimal tank range, an awful seat, and it was a bit underpowered. So there we go. So what we'll do is we'll get out on the open road. This is the first thing I want to look at, is because obviously this bike is 40 horsepower, as we know. This feels actually very comfy. This bike is 40 brakes, that's a little bit more than the GS had. Let's just sneak in the inside here. Yeah, as all the reviews say, first gear is very short, but it's not bad. Let's just close this vent. There we go. So yeah, one of the first things I think we can already see is that the immobiliser light is on the dash. I don't know if you can see that. I believe that is a known fault with these already. I think a lot of people have actually reported that. Trying to do a little bit of lane splitting here, or filtering. No problem. Slip of the clutch in third, and back up to fourth. So straight away, like I say, I'm going to compare this a little bit to the 310 GS because I've not had many single cylinders, but I can also reference it to the CRF 250L I had as well. So we're sitting doing 40, just over 40, 45, and it's fine. It's certainly smoother than the 310 was. It doesn't vibrate as much. The engine itself is a lot smoother, which is good. Just try to adjust these mirrors a bit better. Here we go. So I also want to say thank you to Sherlaw's Motorcycles for giving me the opportunity to ride this, of which they have actually requested I do more, which is even better. I'll tell you what, it's got a good turn of speed for a single cylinder, but I'm very keen to get it out on the dual carriageway. But it's extremely comfortable for me. 6'4", knees are pretty well, yeah, there's a slight bend to the knee, feet are slightly behind me, but it's okay. He's letting me go. So on the dual carriageway, up to 70. Okay, that's 70. Motor behind, pulling out. There we go. So we're currently doing 70s, yeah. There we go, 75. Okay, the rev counter's flashing a little bit, but it's actually very, very easy. Quite smooth. I've got quite a bit of vibration through the right peg at 70, just short of 75 here. It's, yeah, more so to the right hand peg for some reason, don't know what that is. Let's just drop below 70 just to see. Yeah, it eases off a little bit at 65. But certainly when you twist the throttle at 65 and open it up, well, that's full throttle, but that's an indicated 80, well, yeah, 80 something officer. Sorry, the hand slipped on the throttle. But 65 is fine. Minimal vibration through the peg, but it is there. Minimal vibration through the bars, really. Nothing worse than probably get off the Monkey or any other single cylinder for that matter. So yeah, 65. She's doing just under 6,000 revs. Yeah, nigh on 6,000 revs. 70's bang on. 70's bang on 6,000 revs. But so far so good. Hands are quite well protected by the hand guards. The mirrors don't really vibrate that much. I wouldn't say that the visibility behind is crystal clear, but you can see what's behind you, so not quite as clear as they are on my VFR 800, but then again, this is an unfair bike. I was struggling to see where the indicator light was on the dashboard when I first jumped on this, but it actually sits down the bottom of the clocks. But what a beautiful day! So tell you what we'll do, we'll get on the back road and we'll have a quick wander around and we'll go for a little run on the back road with a few comments. But so far so good. Certainly the seat's very comfy. Riding position's very comfy. Wind blast isn't too bad at all at 75. It's actually quite a calm day today. I'm not too sure how, don't know what it'd be like on a really windy day, but there's not much wind today, so it's fine. Anyway, we'll catch you soon. So here we are on the back road, 6th gear, 50 mile an hour. And I've got to say, I'm really impressed with this bike so far. Really impressed. When you rev it out to the higher rev range, it's got that slight buzz to it, like the 310 GS had. Basically, just the same as any other single cylinder, really. But it's very smooth. The actual power delivery of the engine itself is so smooth. Triumph has done an awful lot of work on this. It almost feels like a speed twin in some respects, without the extra shove, of course. But it sounds good as well. Certainly 4th and 5th gear are kind of where it's at. It's got that elasticated power delivery. Certainly not built for speed, but it does handle. It does go around corners as well. It's just a smooth way in which the engine it just picks up speed. Elasticated is the best terminology you could probably use, really. I can see why Triumph have done it as well. It's all thanks to all people, really. You get a nice little engine note, you get a nice little note off the exhaust as well. Don't know how well it's coming through on the microphone. A bit more of a thud would be good, but let's throttle to the stopping fourth. Fifth. Sixth. So it's just over 70. Just like slowing down a little bit. But it's got power to overtake. You know, it's got usable performance that you can actually get past stuff with. Unfortunately, sometimes that 34 horsepower with the 310, you'd have to plan your overtakes a bit better. I mean, it's not going to set the world on fire. It's not supposed to. But yeah, first gear is very, very short, as has already been mentioned on several other videos. It's more of a get rolling gear, really. Fourth or fifth are where it's at. But once she's moving, I can understand why first and second are a bit shorter. If you're going to take it off-road, that's what you want. You want that low-speed control. You don't need masses of power. You just need to have that finesse. But being a bit taller, 6'4" as well, I've noticed the ergonomics. You know, my legs don't feel splayed out on the tank. They're quite in keeping with the lines of the bike. And it's easy. You're just rolling along, enjoying it for what it is. The back brake lever seems to travel a long way before it actually does anything, but I'm sure you could just adjust that out. Yeah, the front brake lever is quite a squeeze to get it to do something, but that's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It's quite progressive. The harder you squeeze it, the quicker you stop. But the bike's only done 117 miles, so I'm not too sure what this person's doing. We'll just squeeze past. But for this sort of back road, potholes, greasy surface, winter riding, low temperatures, something just to enjoy. Even use it as a commuter. It would certainly commute, absolutely no problem at all. That was a big hole. Bars are maybe a bit wide at times for squeezing through the narrowest of gaps, but depending on what sort of commute you're going to do. Not as narrow as a scooter, obviously. But it's such an easy bike to ride as well. Now, interested on this, I've seen a few reviews saying about the speed. I think there's only 25 or 20 millimeters difference in suspension travel on the front of this compared to the speed, which is not as much as you probably expect of an off-roader. I wouldn't say the forks dive too much under braking. But being a bit heavier, I'm 115 kilos probably with gear on, something like that, maybe 120. It feels okay. It doesn't feel suspension doesn't feel too firm at all. The tyres feel good in this damp, greasy tarmac. still just cruise along in 6. It's like a big boy version of a Honda Monkey, really. Bit more power, not as cramped, loads of space. We'll try the front brake. Yeah, it's quite a... You need to use all 4. You need to use all 4 fingers to activate the ABS on the front. Nobody behind. Yeah, but then again, the bike's only done 120 miles, so oh, there we go, 120 miles. Test the back brake at what, 45? Yeah, that locks up quite easy, but you can feel the ABS kick in. And just pull all the way back out of 35, 40, back up to cruising speed. Easy. Absolutely effortless. Yeah, I think if I was being a bit picky, I would say that the front brake pads could maybe just be a bit sharper. I think it's more to do with the pads than the actual brakes themselves, because it will stop. God, there's holes in that road. You're still not sports bike territory, these roads. This is absolutely ideal for this. Absolutely ideal. Just got a bit of corner speed off the rear brake. Roll back on again in 5th. So far, using these Metzer Karoos, fine on this sort of tarmac, really are. This is where this bike is its element on this sort of road. I'm sorry, Liam, it's going to come back like I've just ridden through a field. Just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, Sherlock's Motorcycles, for allowing me to take out this demo, and also by all means give Liam a shout at Sherlock's or anyone on the other team, Dan or Keith, and they'll certainly sort you out with a Kawasaki or a KTM or anything you please. And also Honda, as I believe that is happening imminently. I think I can say that now. And also a shout out to Jacques at Carbon FBR. I'm sure he will be, he actually does sponsor the channel. I get a bit of a extra discount on any carbon fibre parts for the street, but he does Triumph carbon fibre, and he also does Ducati, and he does a range of different carbon fibre parts. So please head over to his website, Carbon FBR, and pick something up for your street triple. If you use Twist and Go 10, I think is a new discount code for 2024, you'll get 10% discount if you use Twist and Go 10. So there we go. Yeah, head over, it's really good quality. I've got an extended carbon fibre hug on mine, and there'll be more to come. And poor Jacques, he can't keep up with demand, and so dare say he'll be doing some stuff for the new Triumph models as well. Are you going to give me any road, or... Oh, that's good. Thanks, Molly. Thanks, Molly Maid. I'm going out on a limb here. I actually think you could tour on this bike quite easily. Biggest problem is going to be... That's a nice house. Biggest problem is going to be the high speed cruising at 75, 80, but I think you could certainly do it.
So here we are, just pulling in, and we'll get off and have a walk around the bike. Okay, unfortunately the audio failed on my GoPro, so this is me just straddling the bike. As you can see, 6'4", plenty of space on the bike to sit on, no issues at all. Easy reach to the bars, very relaxed riding position, and loads of space. Plenty of space behind me for a pillion. The pillion pad's a good size. Putting the side stand down, just to demonstrate to stand up off-road. I think for me personally, you could do with bar risers. The bars are a little bit low for me, obviously being a bit taller, but you know, it's okay. It's pretty comfy. I think for me, I'd maybe put the bars slightly forward, as I'm just saying there, just make that reach just a little bit further away. So as we come around the front of the bike, just talking about the styling and in keeping with the rest of the range, looks really good. Those fins on the side of the engine there, just a good likeness back to the other bikes in the range there. The double skinned exhaust here looks really good. You can see the cat hiding underneath the bottom of the bike there, but it certainly doesn't detract from the physical looks of the bike. So as we come around the front of the bike here, the side of the bike here, I think it's finished very well. You can see the rear shock there is quite exposed, but the hugger's doing a relatively good job of keeping the mud off. Around the front here, closer up look at the front of the bike. So the mudguard does well, but you can see the radiator's quite covered in mud there. So the little extender piece that Triumph do comes down about that far, and then obviously it just deflects the mud. Unfortunately, at the bottom of the bash guard there, but you can get an aluminium one from Triumph, and obviously that protects the coolant bottle, as you can see, nestling behind and underneath the radiator. But I think the front of the bike looks great. The handguards, relatively sturdy. I'm not too sure how strong they would be in a full-on spill. So it's maybe something you'd be thinking about changing in the future. Maybe put some bark busters on there, something that's a little bit more heavy duty in case you drop the bike, and obviously helps to protect the side and the rest of the bike there. But they certainly seem to do a good job of protecting your hands. Come around the front, the headlight, I think it looks really good. Quite like the grill on the front, easily removable. Not the easiest to clean the headlight from practical purpose. Obviously, there's a couple of screws on the left-hand side and the right-hand side there that just allow you to take that off, clean the headlight a bit better. But yeah, it keeps that expensive headlight protected. And the indicators there, you get bullet ones that Triumph do. I prefer these slimmer ones myself personally. I think they look quite good, and they're in keeping with the bike. Around the front here, you've got the bigger 25mm bigger disc, I think it is, compared to the Speed. Brakes are decent enough, as I said earlier in the test ride. Could be a bit sharper, but you know, it's a relatively budget bike, but the brakes are actually functional for the performance of the bike. Good to see that you've got braided lines here, fitted as standard, and obviously there aren't these radial magnetic calipers with that are made by Bybray, which are essentially Brembos under a different name. The same as what was fitted to my BMW G310 GS. But certainly the brakes on this are better than they were on the BM. And yeah, the forks don't dive quite so much, but lovely finish on the front forks as well, that gold, and looks really good. And the fit and finish in the bike in general is cracking actually. I love the engine. It's a lovely smooth engine, and the fit and finish again around the engine itself and the engine cases looks really good. Further up there, I think just the paint and fit and finish generally of the bike is generally of quite high quality, I think. It looks great, especially the paint finish on the tank. It looks really good with the pinstripes. You've got these cutouts here, obviously, to allow a tighter turning circle, to allow the forks they don't bash into the tank there. It's quite a neat little styling exercise. And you've got this Scrambler printed stamped number board on the side there. I'm sure you better get some graphics for that. And seems to be a standard, these knee pads. Those knee pads are standard fitment that I'm aware of. Certainly they seem to do the job. Underneath the bike here, you've got the catalytic converter. So I dare say the standard exhaust is probably quite heavy. So hopefully somebody like maybe Arrow will bring out a full system for it. Not too loud, but just accentuates the visuals of it and saves a bit of weight and adds a bit more performance. So that would be great. You've got the grab rail there, which is pretty sturdy. And the tyres, these Metsu Karus are great. Swing arm seems to be decent quality. Not had any issues with the tyres at all the whole time of the test ride. It's been really good. And you can see again on this side, we've got the shock there. Yeah, it's well protected. It's actually on the softest setting, so the preload actually wasn't too bad for me. But certainly you could certainly adjust the preload on that one just to firm it up a little bit around the rear end. And speaking of the rear end, I actually quite like the look of it. The rear light there is very akin to the speed triple, I thought, or the 1200RR. It's got a very similar look, and obviously in keeping with the rest of the Scrambler range. Lovely side exhaust there. I think they really set the bike off. I dare say there'll be racks and stuff you can get for it to carry luggage. And the mudguard does a good job of keeping the mud and all the rubbish off the back seat, as you can see there, which is pretty, yeah, it's a good size for a pillion. And the quality of the seat is really good. So yeah, I just love the look of the bike. I think it looks great. Angles the bike itself, I think this is possibly one of the better angles. I think this angle here is really good. The bike looks quite mean, looks quite purposeful, and it's yeah, a true scrambler. So there we go. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at the dashboard. Styling wise, I think it's okay. I'd rather have seen an analog rev counter and digital speedo personally, but yeah, it shows you everything you need to see. You've got the odometer there, and then we'll just cycle through trip 1, you've got trip 2, and then you've got your instant MPG, average MPG, and miles to empty. And your gear indicator, of course, as well, and traction control. So anyway, let's head back to the dealer. Well, here we are, back at Shirlaw's. That's probably about 80 miles. 80 miles on this now, so I've got a pretty good handle on what it's like. I really like it. It's very good. The rider's this right-hand peg, for some reason, it does vibrate about 70, 75. Not too sure why the left-hand side doesn't do it. It's not bad. But it's just something to note. Not too sure why that is. I don't know if they're all like it. So by all means, drop a comment if you have experience with this. This is the first one these are ridden, so I'm not too sure. But yeah, you can ride around it. It's not a big deal. It does seem to soften out. Could just be the fact that could just be new and it's not running yet. It's only done like 150 miles. So, but yeah, I quite like it. It's good. It's a good little bike. It'll easily do 70, 75, no problem at all. It will do more than that. You can wind it up to 80. There's definitely more in it than that. Obviously it starts slowing down a little bit, but yeah, I mean it's not what it's built for. But would it cruise at 70, 75 down the motorway? Absolutely no problem at all. Could you take pillion? Yes, you could. There's no storage space under the seat, so you definitely need a rack if you want to carry anything. You could obviously just bungee stuff onto the rear rack there. There are these little lugs. These little lugs here, so you could bungee some stuff on there. But generally speaking, it's a nice little bike for a winter bike or a second bike, maybe a commuter. Certainly, you want to do green lanes with it. It will certainly do that. Off-road capability. Unfortunately, because it's a new, I don't want to upset Liam or Shirlaw's and go and break it off-road. But I tried a little bit of a fire road off camera, and it's fine. As you can see, the rear hugger, a decent enough job, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's doing 60, 70 miles to the gallon. Let's have a little look-see. Let's go through the menu here. We're ridden it relatively hard, but not. Yeah, average of 60 mpg, and that's riding it on a test ride. So you're easily going to get 65 out of it on a cruise. At cruising speed, the mirrors do start to vibrate quite a lot. Obviously just with the wind and obviously just the vibration through a bike being a single, you do find there isn't much to look at from about 75 up. It starts getting quite vibey and they shake quite a bit, but yeah, you're not going to spend loads and loads of time up there anyway. Wind blast coming back into the wind a little bit. You do get a little screen. I think the little screen that Triumph do. is probably worthwhile looking at. How much difference it would make, I don't know, but I suspect there'll be other aftermarket ones to come out. Looks like it'll be quite straightforward to pick up on these bolts here or that there, and obviously another thing as well, you do have a USB port in the side here, USB-C. Charge your phone or your sat nav or whatever. Not sure what sort of power that puts out, but I'm sure you could get a twin adapter for that, and you get your phone on the bars. Get your phone on the bars, get your sat nav on the go. There's no reason why you couldn't tour on this bike at all. It will certainly do it.
Oh, another thing I've got to mention is that the tank is metal, so you can use a traditional...
That's the LED, as you can see. That's the LED light on. And forward, a low beam, flash, full beam. Which I think is, yeah, I'm sure the lights will be fine at night, I'm sure. No reason to suspect otherwise. LED, so very modern. But yeah, I mean, I've got to say, if you're thinking about a winter bike, a second bike, a commuter, maybe something just to go out up in the winter, it ticks a lot of boxes. The styling is absolutely bob on for me. Very comfortable, as I've already mentioned before. Smooth, better than the G310 GS BMW. Certainly looks to be easier to work on. That needed about 27 screws to get to the airbox. I'm sure this isn't quite that bad. So there we go. Grab yourself a test ride on a Scrambler 400X. Very impressive. Thanks very much for watching, sticking on the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. There will be more to come, so yeah, watch this space. Thanks again. Cheers for now.